Afnan Abdullah, a passionate Kuwaiti artist and painter whose work transcends mediums and captivates audiences. With a master's degree in design for communication and a track record of academic excellence, Afnan has showcased her art at international galleries like the Holy Art Fair in London and Kuwait's first digital painting gallery. Her unique vision has earned her awards at prestigious exhibitions, including the Kuwait Art Festival. Afnan's creativity flows from canvas to community, leaving an inspiring mark in the world of art.
Welcome to our show Beyond the Craft, dear viewers, and we are in the workshop with our distinguished guest. So let's welcome all of us, the artist Afnan Abdullah. Hello and welcome to our show.
Hello, how are you?
I am good. If you are good, thank you so much for the great
you.
hospitality. First of all, Afnan, we already spoke in the off-air about how much talent you are.
Thank you.
How about you are into the portrait and you are following too many different kind of, we call the school of arts. But why you choose to be in a portrait art in the beginning?
It was very uncalculated. I was alone in the basement and I was looking through the cupboards and I found an art book and I found a beautiful painting of a portrait.
Okay.
I sketched it in pencil and my parents felt like I have propensity for it. And so they encouraged me since that day. And I fell in love with faces. It's very organic, anything human. I fall in love with it immediately.
So do you remember the year, that time, even the day?
I wish I did. I know I was around maybe 12.
12 years old.
But I don't know the exact years. I have a very bad memory, by the way.
Actually, at least you give us like the approximate year, like it means it's in early 2000.
Yes.
It's early 2000. So you discover the painting and you show it to your parents. Since that day, they encourage you to go with art?
They encouraged me to go into art prior to that, actually.
Okay.
Because I loved drawing since I was less than 10.
Okay.
But it's when I came up with this portrait that they felt like, no, I have more potential. And so they encouraged me to pursue it and embrace
You
it.
remember the word they told you, both of them, when you showed them? How they are always told you?
I don't remember the exact words, but I do remember they were not expecting me to come up with this drawing.
Okay.
Yeah, because I was more into animals, I was more into anime and stuff like that. And then all of a sudden I took a more passion for realistic drawings.
Yeah. So since day one from you and from like young age, you've been into drawing. You're drawing with sketching?
Yes, colored pencils when I was
color
young.
pencils. Okay.
Yes, and then just pencils, trying out with the shades, like the edges and the bees. But then, as you said, life goes on and you take different courses.
Nice.
Yeah.
So you improved yourself. So I want to say something. What do you want to say for your parents in this program? And the other one who already being with us. I know it's something.
It sounds like a simple question, but it's not, because no matter what you say, it will not do their efforts justice. Because it's not just in terms of art. They basically support you in every single sense.
Nice.
And it's not just about the words, it's them taking you to exhibitions, it's them showing you that they are actually there, their presence. So it's not just about words. I can say thank you forever, but then is it enough? I wouldn't know what to say.
So on behalf of our show Beyond the Craft, we're also sending our appreciation and gratitude for their efforts, because still until today in the studios and even in the workshop, they're always supporting you and they're always asking us if we need any help.
That's
so
true.
this is the simple thing we can tell them.
Yeah.
So when you choose the graphic design, at that time it was trendy. It was a new brand new. People go graphic design, people not familiar. You choose it because you like it, or you heard about it, or because it's trendy?
I don't go with the trends. I really, even the word, I run away from this word basically. I really wanted to try something that falls more parallel with my interests, with my own personal inclinations, while at the same time something that I know that I'll be able to get a job with. And this is why I took graphic design. And thankfully, I think that was the first year in which they opened the graphic design as a field.
The major.
Yeah.
And the professors, when they saw your talents, what about the common things they always told you when you be with their subjects and they saw your artwork and your work also?
Actually, this is where we can draw the line between graphic design and art. My art professors, they loved my art. They loved my interest in art. But with graphic design, I never felt the same as I do with art.
It's totally different?
I do find it different. I mean, they're both visual, yes, You need to understand colors, composition, layouts, but I don't approach them the same way.
Okay, I
Yeah,
get your point.
yeah.
So after all these years, you've been to portrait artist. Do you remember your first portrait art ever? Do you remember the artwork?
The first portrait would be the same one I told you about that I did
Okay.
when I saw the book in the basement. So that would be around 12 years maybe or something.
And after you did it by your own hands, no, I did it.
Mhm.
So how was the feeling that time? Do you remember? It was totally different feeling, or you feel like you did something and you accomplished something?
The accomplishments, I feel like, see, here's the thing. Every time you learn something, you feel like you've accomplished something.
Okay.
And then after a short while, you will think it's not an accomplishment because you want to learn something new.
Yeah.
So even after I started to draw many portraits, I was not fulfilled because I was, for example, referencing. And there's nothing wrong with referencing because you need to reference to learn. But there came a point where I said, I'm not fulfilled. I want to draw something from my imagination.
Nice. So this code of ethics you have, and this like the words you have your own codes. We call it Afnan codes. How did you get this codes? From reading, or from life experience? It's like something about you, because the way you are speaking, you know what you are doing, but you are brainstorming a lot. So how it comes to you?
Sorry, I chuckled because sometimes it feels like I actually don't know what I'm doing.
Okay.
But if you want to talk about how we approach work and how we want to do it with as much authenticity as possible, again, it goes back to family.
Okay.
Everything starts with family, how they encourage you, how they give you advices. And this will shape how you approach something, how you untangle every single challenge that comes along the way. But then, yes, the people you talk to when you travel, and this is one of the reasons why I also love traveling, is because you get to meet people from very different backgrounds, the books you read, the different classes you take, and now we have the convenience of the internet.
Yes.
So there's so much you can open up to.
You mentioned traveling. We say all the time, travel is like a book. People who don't travel only read one page. That's why people, the more they're traveling, they can folding the pages and they will be storytellers. So because you are traveling a lot and you take the sense of the art from every certain countries. So can you mention the countries you've been there and you are impressed about their art?
First, let me cover the idea that
Okay.
it's not whether you travel or not, it's the mind you travel with.
Okay.
It's the heart you travel with. And I must say that the first couple of trips I went to were just plainly adventurous. And I did not approach these trips with as much wisdom as I would like to think I had. So I was more about, I want to hike as fast as I can. So
Okay.
you don't get to meet so much about the culture itself. But the first time I got to meet people, as in the locals, was in Nepal. That was in 2019 or 2020.
Before the pandemic.
Yes, before the pandemic. And you would just walk past their art stores. You would see these artists, no slippers on. They just have these mantras playing in the background. And they have such intricate artworks. Even the mandalas that we do with the iPad, they do it with no iPads.
Okay.
Just with, they have a way of measuring the paper and creating circles, and they will write down their calligraphy and the different patterns.
So
It's just mind
when
blowing.
you saw this amazing masterpieces for their artwork, and they measured everything with the manual tools, the way you're connecting with them, you don't. Sometimes maybe you talk to them about the technique. Sometimes you observe what the techniques you got from them.
I didn't ask much about the technique. I was just mainly observing them.
Okay.
But I was curious to know about the subject matters that they painted, because it's a completely different culture. The amount of symbolism over there, and they have a different religion as well. I like learning about these things.
So what did you get from them? Like, I know they spoke about, they draw most of it about nature, about symbols, about some sign things. What the most thing they are focusing more?
How connected we are without us even being aware of it.
Nice.
We always like to draw the line. We have this belief, they have that belief. This is correct, this is wrong. And I'm not saying that there is no such thing as right or wrong, but I think we overlook how connected we are.
Nice.
And we overlook how much we have the same dreams, the same goals.
Nice.
And regardless of how we shape it, like your belief might come in the form of these set of stories because you read these holy scriptures. And they have read a different set of scriptures that to them are holy. But in the end, we all want the same thing.
Nice.
Yeah.
And there is something else. Your style of drawing, I got it maybe from the Western side, but you get it also from Asia side. So people, when they see your artworks, look like Europe style and Europe techniques, but it's all about different techniques in one piece of art. You cannot predict which schools you are attending, which schools you taught, because you have multiple things. Like sometimes when I see your artwork, I see Modigliani, I see Van Gogh, I see Picasso, I see Leonardo da Vinci. Sometimes you're mixing different kind of artwork with surrealism. How do you do this technique?
I didn't really plan it. I just followed my heart.
Okay.
I grew up marveling at Italian art, for example.
Yes.
But we know there are amazing artists in Iran too. So I don't want to overlook a particular area because I know art is global. It's a global language. But for me, I just followed my heart. It was not really calculated. To me, surrealism connects to me so much more than just referencing or drawing something realistic, because it goes deeper into storytelling
Okay.
and aspects, inner chambers of yourself that otherwise you wouldn't know how to express. So what I love about it is that you can take, how should I explain it? Okay, so we like realism, for example. I
Okay.
like to draw faces,
Okay.
but I don't want to just draw a face. I want to take the skills, but I want to morph it into something that expresses a particular idea.
Very nice.
And this is where I feel like surrealism opens a huge space for expression.
Nice.
And I like the fact that you mentioned Asian as well, because I do love a lot of the philosophies that I read that
Yes.
stem from Asia, like Taoism.
Okay.
There's an artwork called Perpetual Flow.
Okay.
It's right over there, the river with the face. I painted that after I read about the Tao,
Okay.
the Taoist philosophy.
Nice. So this kind of philosophy, this kind of techniques and the history, we are very curious to know more about your artwork. Are you ready? Always
Okay.
ready.
Yeah,
Always ready.
we'll try.
So, dear viewers, we're going to continue our conversation with our distinguished guest, Afnan Abdallah, after this break. So, stay tuned.
A world where dreams and reality blend seamlessly, where the mysteries of the universe meet the depth of human emotion. This is the essence of art inspired by surrealism with a cosmic and symbolic touch. Each painting is a story filled with hidden meanings and endless wonder. The use of cosmic elements, like stars and galaxies, reminds us of how vast and limitless the universe is, sparking feelings of awe and reflection. But it's not just about the cosmos, it's about how these celestial ideas connect to our everyday lives. The imagery of eyes, faces, and nature in these works serves as a bridge between the uncanny and the human soul, reminding us of the beauty and complexity of creation. The colors are vibrant yet meaningful, drawing the viewer into a world that feels both familiar and otherworldly. The details invite us to pause, to think deeply about the balance of life, the mysteries of existence, and our connection to something greater. These paintings are more than just visual expressions. They are journeys into thought and imagination. This art speaks in a quiet but profound voice, urging us to explore the world beyond what we see, to seek meaning in every corner of the universe, and to find harmony between the seen and unseen. Each element in these paintings is carefully chosen, holding layers of meaning. Natural forms like flowers, water, and light represent purity, growth, and renewal. These works inspire us to reflect on the beauty of creation and the harmony between the physical and the spiritual, encouraging a deeper appreciation for art and its purpose.
We are back again to our show Beyond the Craft with our distinguished guest today, artist Afnan Abdullah. Afnan, we spoke before the break about too many things, about your perspective, about your schools, what you are doing with surrealism. But now we know more about the tools you are doing for poetry. I noticed like the type you are drawing, sometimes similar, sometimes different. So what about the tools you're doing, the brushes and the colors you're doing all the time?
Similar to the story of how the styles changed over time,
Okay,
so did the tools.
okay,
So at first it was just pencils, and then I started to gain an interest in pastels and charcoal, and then I fell in love with acrylics, and then I experimented with oils. But then I came across digital painting, and the vibrancy that digital painting can provide you with is just mind-blowing. So I really enjoyed that. But I must say that nowadays, the thing I turn to the most is just dry ink. I love using dry ink because you don't need so many tools. You don't need to charge anything. You rest your eyes from the screen. And it's very spontaneous and actually kind of harder because there's no undoing.
yes.
Once the pen is on the paper, if it leaks out, it leaks out.
It leaks out.
So it's a nice challenge and it's very stilling for the mind.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And in addition, this is what we called about the tools. What about the digital art you're doing in the screens? I noticed like you have a good techniques and you've been now to the digital art. I know it's totally different about, there is no colors to do. It will not take too much time.
Yeah.
Everything is easier for you. Even there is too many things easier. You don't need to measure now. So how it's like you are being into the digital art now?
The convenience is very, as I said, it's very intriguing how they can provide you with technology in which you can create so much art and carry it around with you even into your office. So I remember back in the days, starting from maybe 2018,
Okay.
I would have my tablet with me at work. So whenever I finish my tasks, I can draw whenever I feel like it. But I think it also has, I mean, there's a beautiful thing and an ugly thing to everything in life.
Everything is.
So we know how beautiful digital art is, but then it takes away some of your skills. It's nice that some people can mix paint. It's nice that some people, remember how we spoke about the artists in
Yes.
Nepal, how they could just use their hands and simple tools. These are the kind of things I think we might miss out on if we just rely too heavily on electronics. Also, the fact that now with the dissemination of the information happening around the world, we know that there is a problem with electronic devices.
Yes.
And that is that some of them are exploiting people in the Congo. And that makes me feel like, okay, I'm receiving my salary every single month. I'm having fun with art, but it's all on the backs of these Congolese people. And we're not talking about them. And when is this gonna stop? And how can we consume or shop for electronic devices with more responsibility and more ethics? And how can we be more selective with what kind of electronic devices to buy? And this is why I don't even want to rely on it anymore. It's been a whole year since I've done anything electronically.
That's very nice from you. Like you mentioned about the good things and the bad things about electronic piece of art. It's a good thing you can choose the exact color that you want,
That's
the
true.
exact measurement you want. But at the end, it will waste of your skills of your hand. That is the
Yes.
most important. So what about your latest artwork? We are curious to see the techniques you did and what the meaning about your latest artwork.
Okay, so the latest digital artwork I did was in January of last year,
Okay.
2023. It's called Found in the Dirt.
Okay.
And this artwork means a lot to me because, okay, we always talk about light,
Okay.
you know, and even when we talk about self-growth, self-help books, meditation, we always talk about light, but we rarely talk about the importance of sitting in the shadow
Okay.
and sitting with the most embarrassing aspects of yourself. But really, this is the only way a person can truly improve. It's by looking at acknowledging and appreciating yourself for what you
Okay.
can do. It is appreciating the light, but there's no growth without dark. And so this whole artwork revolves around a woman stepping inside a cave,
Okay.
and that cave depicts her in a way. And there's this very teeny tiny tree that's glowing inside the cave, but it's surrounded with so many rocks and thorns. And I think this is an aspect that we always overlook. We always worry so much about being positive.
Yes.
But being positive also could potentially take us away from facts that we need to sit with. And it's only when you sit with them, analyze them, unlearn what you thought you knew, and really become as honest as you can with yourself. This is in itself a positive act.
You know, I didn't even interrupt you. I let you talk freely. I didn't even give you any comments because the thing I am hearing it's something from your heart. This is like how you mentioned your latest artwork, but before you did it, it took you a huge effort to thought about it. Maybe you've been in different circumstances until you implement your finger to draw. What happened before you do your artwork? Because now it's the result. What happened before that?
What happened before that is what happens to every single human being. You come to the point where, okay, you know how they always ask, what is your New Year resolution?
Okay.
For me, there's no such thing as New Year resolution, because all throughout the day even, you're going to think to yourself, what did I do that I could have done better?
Okay.
There are aspects of yourself that you want to improve. There are paths you want to uncover. You will ask yourself, where am I going? You will ask yourself, what are my core beliefs? And this is not always easy to sit with.
Yes.
It is a dark path. I'm not saying that, yeah, let's complain about it. We're very privileged, but yeah, you have to think about these things. So what I go through is, sorry.
Continue.
Yeah, what I go through is,
you.
thank you. What I go through is no different from what other people go through. It's just that there are things that inspired me to sit in the shadow. One of the things that inspired me is Carl Jung. I really love reading about Carl Jung and watching videos about him because he really stressed on that.
That's right.
Yeah, he didn't tell his patients just be positive. He asked them, why don't you ask yourself, why do you feel this way? Break it down, untangle it. And that was very beneficial.
That's why you are always following your path. So this is we talk about your latest artwork. Now I will go back for your first solo exhibition ever. I know it was one of the moments you will not forget because you're following with Kuwait Arts Association. You've been participate to many different exhibitions. Some part of it, like maybe you just present your artwork, but that time it's totally different. All your artwork in Kuwait Art Association, too many presents. How was the feeling that time you present all your artwork together in your solo exhibition?
It was like a gush of wind.
Okay.
Very refreshing, very overwhelming. It's so busy inside your mind, and a part of you is so happy to see all these people supporting you, and a part of you feels like, oh my goodness, I don't want to disappoint these people. And this is why this year has been a bit
harsh.
I don't want to say harsh, but I felt like I did have the potential to cause a disappointment to them because these people supported me so much. Of course, first and foremost, my beloved family, but the Kuwait Arts Association opened their warm arms in a way that I can't explain. And I remember during the gallery, they kept telling me, you have to keep going, you have to keep going.
Nice.
So the fact that the last painting I did was a whole year from now, or let's say a whole year ago, it made me feel like, well, maybe I'm disappointing the people that supported me the most. But in the end of the day, you have to be authentic.
And that day we saw your parents there, your families are there, your relatives are there, too many public figures participate there. Do you remember the picture or the artwork that the most of them stop on it and they give you comments that time?
The most one?
It was in the left corner. I remember, but maybe you don't remember the name of the artwork. But what was the common things they said to you that day? Do you remember?
I think they all realized that it all revolves around mindfulness.
Okay.
But is there something you heard that I'm not aware of? Because I don't remember.
Everyone is like proud of you because maybe they don't thought about your talent because the pictures you and the artwork maybe 1 meters and above. So people look to you and they look to the artwork and people maybe they don't even know you. There is, some visitors came with their friends and families. I saw the eye of proudness when they looked to you. Oh, that's work of Afnan. I said, yeah, yes it is. So this is great. Like, see, maybe you're working behind the scene as an artist. You're facing too many different circumstances. You do brainstorming. You're learning a lot. You're searching a lot. But when you do an artwork and people appreciate you, it means you go to the right path, Afnan.
I think that's where the beauty comes. You can be the top artist in the world, but really the fruitful moments is when you can share something with people.
Yes.
This is when it really hits.
And do you think like an artist have to be every year have to be present his artwork? We have to wait little.
I don't believe that you even have to draw every day.
Okay.
Again, you might ask another artist the same question, and he or she will say, no, you have to draw every single day. For me, I think everything in life needs separation. Everything in life needs space. You know the famous saying, music is not the notes, but the space between the notes?
Yes.
Back in the days, I didn't know what this meant. But now, I really do, and I relate to it so much. Whether you're talking about friendship, family, partnership, hobbies, everything needs separation. You need time to still your mind and to gather more knowledge and more experience so that when you come back, and if you do come back, you will have something new to work on, something with more depth. If you just force it every day, then
It will be different, yes.
yeah.
So you don't have to force yourself.
I personally don't do that. And again, it comes from the luxury of art not being my full-time job.
Yes. And there is nothing like, I know, like a social media, it's a good opportunity to let people see your work. Sometimes when I don't see you active, it's like someone came to you, it's like, please, can you draw me? It happens to you before?
It happened, and I did consider taking commissions, but see, when it comes to creativity, I always fear the idea of turning it into a job, into a money-making job, because the minute you do that, you will not draw from your emotions, and you will try so hard to meet deadlines, and I know I will not do as well.
So that's why you are very fulfilled and honest with the clients when they ask you.
I try my best to do that, yeah. It can be embarrassing sometimes, but you have to be honest about it.
Nice.
Yeah.
We can say all the times, Afnan, we are very proud of you.
Thank
about your accomplishment. The thing I learned from this interview is not about how much you have to work, how much have you influence in your work. It doesn't count about the days, about the years, how much you have experience. It's about how much you give the influence to everybody. So you are one part of these good examples in the state of Kuwait. We can say all the time we are very proud of you, and good times run very fast within the time. Do you have any last message you want to send to the viewers? You want to say something? This is your camera.
Again, this is a question that is often asked, and it sounds like a simple thing, but it's not really simple. But I do want to say that we now know so much more than we used to know. We have the internet. There's a lot more information that is being uncovered, and we are seeing how much healing has to be done throughout the entire world. So my recommendation would be stick to knowing who you are, stick to knowing your values, and don't depend so much on individualism. I think we've been taught so much about self-growth, and that's great, but it's separated people. We are just so driven behind ourselves. It's all about me, 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 me. It's no wonder why the world is so lonely. So it's good to take care of yourself, but in the end of the day, we take care of ourselves to finally connect with those around us. It starts with the family, but then it stems way beyond that as well.
Amazing. So, thank you so much for joining us today, Afnan.
Thank you so much for your time.
You're most welcome. So we are speaking to the artist Afnan Abdallah. She already sharing with us about her art journey, how she already chose this kind of artworks, how she already learned a lot, and about her latest artwork. Hope you enjoyed our episode. See you next time, and have a good day.